we need to talk about... I want to say, like, pretty much every game released on this hardware is going to get covered in this series, because, yeah, like, a lot of these games didn't really do very well. Does that mean they're all bad? I don't know. That's for you to judge. So we're going to talk about, yep, clip it. We're going to talk about Bally Sente. Formerly Sente Technologies, which I think was formed by the company Vidya, the company that made Gridley. They didn't really get their foot out the door, like getting anything released, but then they Vidya got acquired by by Chuck E. Cheese, and then they got sold to Sente Technologies was around for a little bit, but then they got sold to Bally Midway. Bally Midway kind of acquired them, and they actually they did release one game in very limited quantities that I think went out to like that I think might have went out to like Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza, and then it got recalled or something, and then they re-released it. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but basically this culminated in, that's a tiny picture, in Bally Sente releasing the Sente arcade computer. This was a new revolution in arcade hardware, because they used a different approach in selling the games to the arcade market. Because basically what they were going for with this is this the picture? Oh, that's big. Image is like a little small. We'll try to zoom in. The model they were going for with this was that you buy the cabinet, and then you rent the cartridges. Like they promised a lot of support for the system. Like they would release a bunch of different cartridges. So you had to pay like $3,000 or something for the cabinet, and then you paid like a weekly fee of like $20, and they gave you like unlimited access to any and all cartridges, and the cartridges were meant to be easily convertible. Like you just swap out the marquee. They give you a new control panel to put in the cabinet. You put in a new cartridge, and you got a new game. But yeah, let's zoom in a little more. This is probably gonna like cover everything up. I need to like crop this. The best designed, best constructed piece of hardware in the business. But the cabinet itself was kind of expensive, and they wanted it to be like bulky and heavy because they didn't want people to be moving the cabinet too much. Like it's like, yeah, this is your cabinet. It's gonna be here forever. It's gonna sit in this spot in the arcade, and we don't want you moving it. What? But yeah, let's go over here. The business concept. Buying video games has become one of the highest risk investments an operator makes because the whole unit must be purchased each time. With game prices climbing and game life expectancy shortening at ever-increasing rates, operators are finding it more and more difficult to recoup the sizable new game investment. As long as operators are faced with having to buy whole game units, the situation will get progressively worse. So you pay a one-time cost for the frame, and then you pay I think it was $20 a week, and you get software. You get a minimum of 4 new software options a year. They actually released more than 4 in 1984. I think the entire rest of the stream is going to be looking at these games. Forget the headaches of trade-ins or game resale. So I kind of get what they're going for here, because there were a lot of games being released, and you know, operators can't be expected to buy everything. So, trying to get them to invest in just one cabinet and having like unlimited access to new carts at like $20 a week. Yeah, maybe that could work, but at the same time, yeah, $20 a week in 1984 is like a little much. Yeah, what happened if you stopped paying the fee? Did they just like break down the doors to the arcade and send in the mob to take the the cabinet back? I don't know how it worked. So I'm not sure like how long they stuck with that model. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There was this is just a. We'll put it in graph form for you to understand. Where is the yeah, Sente repo. Man, and then at some point they kind of I think they kind of realized the whole rental thing wasn't going to work. Like this one's talking about actual games you can buy. Let's zoom in a little bit. I don't know. This doesn't say anything about the rental fee. So I think like at some point they kind of dropped it, and we're just like straight up like selling the cartridges. But yeah, they're just they went heavily in on this this whole immersion. They called it like an immersion cabinet where you know you can just focus on the screen and you block out like everything else. Kind of sucked for anybody that wanted to like watch the game. Unless you were at like an Aladdin's Castle or something that had like a video out that put it on a monitor. But they eventually started putting them out in other cabinets. More standardized cabinets that were more straight up. And then at some point, man, that's just a shameful yank, man. They even started selling it in conversion kits for to convert Pac-Mans into Bally Sentes. This is from like 1985. Some of those games aren't out yet. I would not trust that superhero. So anyway, I'm getting this fucking guy off the screen. So the first game they produced on the SAC1 hardware was a game called. Let's see, where is it? A game called Snake Pit. And like I said, they sold it in like very, very limited quantities that I think like mostly went to like Chuck E. Cheese's or Showbiz Pizzas before it got before it sort of got recalled. And then they just kind of resold the game for the Bally Sente system. Yeah, why isn't Outback Jack wearing pants? Man, that's a lot of words. Premier game for the Sente arcade computer. Brilliant high-resolution graphics, crisp dynamic sound, and intriguingly addictive gameplay to launch the new arcade revolution. It's a high-adventure story, a complete Saturday matinee cliffhanger in game form. Okay, let's not get too carried away. So, here's the way the game controls. There's a trackball and an 8-position joystick. But the way it works is that the trackball moves you, and the joystick determines which way you attack. It's a little odd. It's a little backwards. Like, this is definitely one of those games that probably definitely plays better on an actual cabinet. I've tried to do my best to get controls working for this on on MAME. I think I just have to settle for using pad. But anyway, the whole point of this game is to acquire the fabled Amulet of Alaron, which is trademarked, by the way. And then you have to escape the secret city of Alaron. This game is kind of unique because it actually has an ending. Games having endings were not very commonplace. Obviously, Cloak and Dagger had an ending. I should get a trackball controller. I do have one. It's just MAME's analog controls do not support things properly because of analog overflow. So we're going to do our best here. But this game is interesting. This game is pretty interesting. Like, it's the first game on the SAC1 hardware. This game's all right. It's not complete shit.